Stevie where the underground meets the playground. Chris and Tim of Faith or Fear, we have more questions. Oh yeah.
So you guys got a legendary producer for your new CD, correct? Bill?
Oh, a legendary guy who mastered the CD.
Oh, he didn't produce it?
He didn't produce it. Kevin Hogan produced it
okay.
in conjunction with us, but Bill Matoyer mastered not only Instruments of Death, but this record as well. So, yeah, Bill's out in California, and he did, just go online, you'll just see who he'd Slayer back in the day, Corrosion of Conformity.
Mm-hmm. He did the Metal Gamut. Yeah, I was excited to see him on there.
What's that?
That's the Faith or Fear Titanium album.
Yes.
Buy it now. Available now, FYE.
How did you come to get him?
Again, when Brian got us the whole deal with the covers with Ed Repka for all the Megadeth covers, which we used for our cover, same thing. Brian's well known in the industry. He's best friends with Brian Slagle from Metal Blade.
Sure.
Knows all the people at Century Media who distribute our record as well. Just all his contacts, he was just able to quickly go, you guys want that? No problem. You guys want to get in touch with Bill Matoyer? No problem. So we heard of, we had already known Bill Matoyer because back when we were young, he was already on the back mastering Slayer and all these other things. We knew the name. We're like, how can this guy do us wrong? And he did not do us wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's pretty much a legend. That's why I was excited to see the name.
Thank you, Bill Matoyer. Good job, brother.
Real quick on Century Media, you guys, they re-released Punishment Area, right? Or
they did.
They did. Is it still available?
It is still available, and they did a much better job of it because they remixed it.
Oh, okay.
They remixed the whole thing. They actually took a lot of reverb off of it, and it just sounded, if you get the Combat version as opposed to the Century Media version, the Century Media version sounds absolutely raw the way that this band really was intended to sound.
Nice.
So,
it is tweaked.
and I think they go for cheap. I mean, if you find it on certain websites like lostandfoundrecords.com, they have that. I think I've seen it sometimes for as cheap as $5.
That's a deal.
So yeah, and again, remixed the way that they've done it, absolutely unbeatable.
Now, coming back, what do you guys have to offer the thrash world that you couldn't offer before? What's your...
Well, the best thing we have...
Gray hair.
True, and beard.
Facial hair,
yeah. So the answer to that's going to be right here.
Yeah.
Part of what we're going to do in the future is going to rely on what people think of this. If it's only been out for 3 months, we released this in first week in January. As of right now, I can tell you we've already kind of decided we're definitely going to do another album.
Awesome.
Yes.
It would be nice. It'd be nice to see this thing go even further. As our consigliere always tells us, just don't hurry up and do something else before people have truly enjoyed and digested what's going on here. You're going to end up putting out something new and then them not really having had the time to listen to how good, or at least what we feel is one of our best efforts ever. So we don't want to shortchange that.
Excellent.
We're gonna, maybe towards the end of the summer, then to be ahead of the game, as this is still selling, as maybe we're still doing shows to promote everything. We may then enter the studio to at least, if it's going to be another year-long process, at least we've begun that.
Yeah.
And now when people have said, okay, we've kind of had our fill of this, we're now ready. We don't have to say we're going to go into the studio and you're going to wait 2 years. We're kind of ready to say, well, we're almost done. We're going to be ready to release the next record. So that's what we have to offer is you're going to get the same Faith or Fear sound that you've always accounted or can count on.
Right, sure.
At the same time, there's a progression there that I think shows where the band has matured, and where part of that maturity is not shifting your style so much so you don't even sound like you used to. Part of the maturity is we need to sound like we do, but we need to just write progressively to where people are going, man, they just write stuff. I liked what they did there, but now I like this even more.
Right.
Well, if we're progressing and maturing, then it's going to be even more on the next record.
An evolution, if you will, right?
CJ coined it the best, and it's one of the most prophetic, profound statements that stay with me, and it'll be with me forever. We're recording Instruments of Death, the record before this, the compilation. And we're in the studio, and I'm just sitting there listening to stuff being played back, and I look at him and I go, God damn, why does this sound so much better than when we were doing this back in Punishment Area? And he goes, that's simple. He goes, then we did it as kids. Now he goes, we do it as men. And that stuck with me. It was just it was so right off his tongue. He didn't have to think about it. It was like, dude, that's simple. Then we're kids. You're in the merry-go-round. You're not sure. You're just going with the flow. Yeah, this is awesome. We're playing. We're drinking. Now you've had a little time to digest it and go, like the age-old saying, if I only knew now, or if I only knew then what I know now, same principle.
Well, that segues perfectly into my question. Like, how are you guys going to approach touring and doing shows now, as opposed to what you guys did as men with jobs and families
and responsibilities?
So do you have
now we have to do
things that are lined up, or
if we could do anything, we talked about it, would be a mini tour weekend. Those kind of, how much could we disappear or get time off from jobs and family?
It'd be mostly weekend.
Tour.
He's right. It'd be mostly weekend stuff. It'd be mostly things where maybe we'd leave on a Thursday, do a Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, head back on a Sunday night.
What we're really looking forward is getting a big invite to, big European
one of the festivals over there. That's
and there's been invites to that, but again, it's a question of logistics. I think he was saying earlier, we had an offer. Nico McBrain has taken a huge liking to this new CD through a friend of ours that's a DJ in London named Alan Seville on Northampton Radio. He's got Nico loving this so much that Nico has a side project in the United States called McBrain Damage. They offered us, after all this time trying to set it up, he finally offers us an opening show on Monday, December the 19th.
Yep.
We had to turn it down because I'm leaving for my sister's wedding in Florida 2 days later. So there you go, so to speak, about coincidences and circumstances. We get a chance to play with this guy and we can't do it. But that's kind of what's already been offered. Hey, we like what you're doing, come down and do this. On the way to that, there were a couple radio stations that play us in Tampa.
Nice.
That said, on your way here, we can set it up if you want to play in Atlanta, Jacksonville, Tampa, and then do a show you're going to do with them in Coral Gables. At least now you're not just doing one show. We're going to set it up on a big weekend, do all these shows, and then head back up to New Jersey. So we've also got an offer recently from a guy in Chicago. Give us just a monetary figure of what it will take. We'll get you out here. We'll do a few shows in Chicago over the weekend and get you back. Again, it's like you said, it's a logistical question now of who can do what. There's families, there's jobs, there's this, that, or the other. It would have to take a monumental record deal with the amount of money or a retainer to say, okay, we can just quit our jobs at this point.
Otherwise, it's mini tours and stuff.
If I read correctly, if I read correctly on some of the records, I even think Machine Head still has regular day jobs. Because we were friends with them too.
A lot of people do,
yeah.
So we were friends with those guys, with Rob Flynn and.
Well, even years ago, I interviewed Chuck Billy and from Testament, and he was still working as a tow truck driver.
And they do. A lot of you'd be surprised how many bands still have their day jobs, and they do what they can because their jobs will give them a leave of absence.
Right.
And say, okay, we'll let you go for a month or 6 weeks.
The money,
which is what we did in Faith or Fear. We all still had our jobs.
Financially secure. They're not financially secure with the band. You got to,
especially with today's economy.
Hey, look at me, it's the goddamn